doesn't show the little ring light because sometimes you can see it.
Amazon. Hey everybody, good morning. It's Lisa Copeland and it's day 7 of my 31-day commitment of coaching. I told you guys and gals I'd be here every day for 31 days. Did not guarantee what time I'd show up, but I would be here. Once again, the life I live, I've got one of my very, very dearest friends, biggest rock star on the planet when it comes to corporate America. You guys have seen Robin before. I've had her on my shows because there's like nobody I admire more when it comes to building strategic teams and partnerships, all within the confines of corporate America. See, I would either be fired or in jail if I tried to do what I do within the confines of corporate America. And so the thing about Robin, she's got a new book and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit, but she has built and put together, and I'm going to make her brag about herself because she'd rather do anything really than talk about herself. So I have to hype her up because she's launching this book. It's going to go New York Times. I can feel it. And I have to tell her, you got to hype yourself up. You got to be your own hype girl. Right. And she has negotiated some of the biggest deals in corporate America, starting with kind of where you started, which was Dell Computer. Mm-hmm. Okay. Don't say, Tell, because I happen to know the deals that she did, but tell us about one or two of the big ones, like the young Robin. I mean, we were young back then. I remember when you did these deals.
Yeah. So the very first one I ever did, I sold Dell's first ever storage area network, which basically is a big data center full of servers and storage. And it was to a school in Oklahoma, Western Heights School. It was Dell's first ever storage area network. And it went to a K-12 school, which was a really big shocker. You would think it would go to some big financial company
or university or something. Yeah.
But it went to a K-12 school. And in fact, Bill Gates wrote about this superintendent in his book. Joe Kitchens was his name, and he had a vision. He had dropout rates that were really high, and he needed to offer online education to the students. So I sold Dell's very first ever storage area network. It was several $1 million. I don't remember how much it was, but it was to this K-12 school. Then the next big thing I did was Department of Homeland Security.
I remember that story.
That was a good one. And that was over $1 billion of revenue for Dell at the time.
That's it?
Yeah.
With the governor of Arkansas.
Well, back then he was the Undersecretary for Homeland Security.
Of course he was.
Asa Hutchinson.
And you ran into him in an airport.
Well, one of his lieutenants.
And then, but that's how you took an opportunity of knowing that, number one, knowing who the players were. And then from that meeting, didn't you set the meeting?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so I just found, Jim Williams, who was the guy I ran into in the airport or in the airplane, actually. Yeah. And then he worked for Undersecretary Asa Hutchinson, who happened to be from my hometown. So Uncle Asa helped us out.
Uncle Asa, who happened to be the Undersecretary for Homeland Security. Yeah. Now, so that was the Bush years, because that was after 9/11. I remember that. Okay. And then tell us the big one. Like this, I love this story with Ratan Tata.
Yeah. So then I started working on a global initiative, putting cloud computing in places where Amazon, AWS wasn't yet. And we decided to do a deal in India with the Tata Group. I brought Michael Dell, Ratan Tata together.
Now tell for the students in the back who don't know who Ratan Tata is. Now I know he just recently passed away.
He passed away.
Yeah. But tell the audience who Ratan Tata is.
Yeah. So his family, right? So the Tata family actually was one of the very first families in India that settled India as a country. And in the Industrial Revolution, they started a company called Tata Steel, just kind of like in the US, you had Pittsburgh and all the steel families. They did the same thing in India, but they are he was basically like the prime minister of India.
And for all my car people that watch my stuff, they own Jaguar.
Yeah,
Tata own Jaguar.
And they own Tata Steel, Tata Motors, Tata
Internet,
everything.
That was under didn't they lay the pipes under the ocean?
So they bought a company that had the most underwater cable. So even your telcos, they leased all their space from Tata. on the submarine cable. They own more submarine cable than anybody else in the world at the
So
time.
can you tell you guys, I've had such a fun weekend. So last night, Friday night, Renee spent the night. Last night, Robin spent the night. So I make my friends get in their pajamas, like we're in our pajamas. I'm like, okay, I got to do a training. Robin and I stayed up till midnight last night talking about the ways of the world and how things work and all of that, right? So Robin is honest to God, and I've always said this, and you're one of the smartest people I know, strategists, but the fact that you've been able to be so successful and maneuver so successfully within corporate America has always impressed me. And you know that. Like, I tell your story sometimes better than you tell your story, because you guys don't understand how much harder it is to operate within the bumpers,
the
bumpers.
guardrails.
That's what I was saying, the bumpers of, like, imagine going to the bowling alley and you're throwing the ball. Now, me, you guys heard Renee say yesterday, I'm the gunslinger. I'd be throwing that ball all the way up and down every alley. I don't care. I'm going to knock every pin out that I can get on 7 lanes. I'm going to knock them out and win. But Robin has to be a sniper, because with what you do, you got to be in the one alley. Your bumpers are up. You got everybody C-suite down, breathing down your neck. And you still have to perform at an entrepreneurial level.
Well, so I like to say, I think the reason I've been successful in corporate America is because I was the CEO of my career. And I moved around. I mean, to stay at Dell for 17 years, I moved from job to job, and it was more responsibility, more strategic,
more money.
And so I treated my career like my business, and I was the CEO of my career. And I looked for those new opportunities, almost like a new market. I'd be like, oh, okay, cloud computing is, I want to go do in that world. I want to go.
But let me interject this here, because I think it's super important. You built a brand. You know, guys, you always hear me talk about building your brand, okay? And like, if you're an entrepreneur, you got to build your brand. But understand, you've got to build a brand within corporate America. So your brand, the Robin Goad brand, is so strong, which is why all these companies, why you've just kept going up and up and up, and all these companies have fought to recruit you and to bring you in, because your brand is so strong. AWS, which is where you are now, but Dell and Gartner and all the places you've been, right? They hired Robin, the CEO of the brand of Robin Goad. So understand, guys, whether you are in corporate America, you're in real estate, cars, insurance, mortgages, whatever, your brand is everything. It's everything to what you're trying to do. So I promised Robin we're going to breakfast, but I told her she had to work for her breakfast this morning. But we're going to talk about her new book, and I've got it up in the notes. But I want all of you, if you're like, I like this chick, I want you to go to the R.E.A.L Robin Goad, Goad, therealrobingoad.com, because you're going to be able to look at some of the things we're going to talk about for a few minutes here and pre-order her book, which is going to be fantastic. Okay, so I want you to talk about the framework and why you wrote the book. So I'm going to let you take it away.
Well, so the reason I wrote the book is because I really am passionate about going back to the Robins at 25.
Okay.
I want to go back to every 25, 30-year-old in corporate America and say, let me give you the guide.
The framework.
There is a rule book to success in corporate America.
Okay.
And it's a game. You are playing a game, and you would never go play a football game, a basketball game. You would never go play a game without the rules.
Right.
But we do it in corporate America all the time. We go get a job. We think we're going to deliver, and somebody's going to pay attention, and we are going to get promoted. We're going to get more money, more responsibility, whatever. And that's not the way it works.
Okay.
There is a rule book. And so what I did is I wrote out a framework. The R.E.A.L roadmap to success in corporate America.
Ooh, let's hear it.
Okay. R.E.A.L. Recognize your superpower.
Okay.
Don't focus on your weaknesses. Double down, triple down on your superpower and operate within that. E is establish a strategy. When I had an executive vice president in my car when I was 28 years old, I said, what made you so successful? You're only 7 years older than me, and you're an executive vice president, and I'm a regional sales manager. He said, Robin, when I was 23 years old, I set up my strategy. I wanted to be the CEO of IBM.
Where is he now? Do you know?
I don't, he's probably retired.
Okay.
But he had a strategy. I didn't have a strategy.
Okay.
I never established a strategy. That's
Okay.
the E in the R.E.A.L framework.
Okay.
A is align with those unwritten rules I'm talking about. So there are unwritten rules. So you need to align your strategy, operate your superpower, align your strategy to these unwritten rules. So,
Help
and
me
that is,
understand that one.
yeah. So, an unwritten rule in corporate America is create your narrative.
Okay.
It isn't always about the guy doing the best job. It's about who can tell the best narrative.
Okay.
So align your, get your superpower going, align it, and then figure out which rules in corporate America, which is one of them is the narrative.
Okay.
Establish your narrative. You call it the brand.
The brand. Okay. Okay. So let me ask you. So when I was talking about establishing your brand, your internal brand is so strong. Is that really more your narrative is so strong?
It is.
Okay. Okay. See, difference between entrepreneur talking and corporate executive talking. Okay.
Yeah. So what is your narrative?
Okay.
And how do you spend, and your narrative must align. You have to realize your job in corporate America is to make your boss successful. So making all my work goes to promote another guy. Now,
This is why I'm not in corporate America.
I get the benefit of that.
How?
Well, so I make my guy really successful.
Or girl.
Or girl. Well, maybe. Mostly a guy. So
That's in the book too.
I make him really successful.
Okay.
But in this case, it isn't always the case, but in this particular case, if they're a strong, confident leader, I get the flow down of that. So I'm making my boss, I'm owning his goal. He's bringing me on his leadership calls with his skip level boss.
Okay.
So now I'm getting exposure 3 levels above me,
which builds your narrative
because I already have a good narrative. If I don't have a good narrative, I'm not getting access.
Okay.
If I don't have a good narrative, I'm not. And my boss has told me just recently, he's like, do you think I would be bringing you into those calls if I wasn't confident in what you're going to say and your narrative and you can hold it?
And the fact that, that you have to build trust.
Yep. Earn trust.
Right.
That's another one of the unwritten rules.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm getting this. I'm following.
And then the 4th L. So in my R.E.A.L framework, the L stands for lead with your authentic power.
Okay. I want you to really drive into that one right now.
So, authenticity, and this is something that Ratan Tata actually said to me, and I write about this in the book. Ratan Tata said, Robin, I know that you're the one behind the scenes on this deal. And he said, and you wouldn't be here. My people would not have brought you here if you weren't authentic. And he said, authenticity crosses all socioeconomic, cultural, every barrier gets broken down when you operate authentically.
How do you operate authentic? Okay, so like I think about, and I'm a very big proponent of authenticity also. It gets me in trouble sometimes because sometimes I say too much, I do too much. My authentic self's like, I can't listen to your BS anymore. This is too much for me. So how do you as a corporate executive operate in authenticity when you got to toe the company line?
Well, so
she did not know any of these questions.
So let me think. How do I mean, here's the deal, right?
Here's the deal. Robinism, by the way.
Here's the deal. I'm paid to do a job.
Okay.
And sometimes I have to do hard things that suck. But when you operate authentically, if I had to lay off 168 people, which I've had to do before, I am coming at it from a place where first of all, in corporate America, one of the things that you're oftentimes given is the opportunity to take your really good people and go help them find other jobs.
Okay.
So, I try to operate with my people's best interests in mind.
And I can absolutely back that up because she has taken my daughter to 2 or 3 companies now.
I think 2.
2. Yeah. 2 Gartner and now AWS. And Alex tells me all the time, it's, I'm just so grateful because Robin's the best mentor, leader, boss that as a mom, I could ever hope that my daughter could follow in that wicked corporate world you guys work in.
It's not wicked. It's not wicked. It's a great place to work. Corporate America is a great place to work if you don't sell your soul, and you realize that there's a way for you to get, it's a get and give.
Okay.
It is a mutually beneficial relationship.
Okay.
And corporate America pays me and I deliver a lot of value. But
Yeah.
I think about all of the I've traveled the world.
I know you have.
I have been to met some of the most amazing people.
Yep.
Traveled the world.
Yep.
On the company dime. I've delivered billions of dollars for that.
Right.
But it's a give and get relationship. And I just wish I would have known the rules.
What would you have done
figured it
differently?
out the hard way. I figured it out at 45, 50 versus 25. But I would have established a strategy. I would have realized what am I really good at? What is my superpower?
What is your superpower?
My superpower is connecting the dot. I can see things when I sit down with somebody, and whether they're talking to me about a new technology, whether they're talking to me about a business problem that they're trying to solve, within minutes, I start mind mapping all the different ways that I'm going to help them go to market, partner with them. Who are the other allies that we need to bring into this ecosystem? I can immediately start framing a business strategy for them.
Which is what I've known you over 25 years. That's what I would say about you. When people ask me about you, I'm like, she's a brilliant strategist.
Yeah.
But you're like that in life too. Because you and I've strategized some things over the last 24 hours that have nothing to do with corporate America, right? Personal, business.
But that's what I mean. That superpower,
Yeah.
I believe your superpower is a God-given gift that you've had.
Which is discernment.
And you figure out how to put it all together.
But I'm saying you're very discerning.
Yeah.
Right? So so from a corporate level, even though you're strategizing, you're mind mapping what their strategy will be, you've got the discernment to know, well, I think that's not really realistic based on who the partner is going to be, who they are, what their not brand, what am I looking for? Narrative is, right? I think you're really good at that too.
Yeah. And so I will sit down with a company, a partner that is a partner of Amazon or a partner of Dell, right? And I'll say, what do you want to be when you grow up? So I know today you're in the business of software X, or you're in the business of hardware Y. Okay. Is that what you want to be 10 years from now? Or what is your CEO talking about? What is their vision for their company? And then how can I help you get there?
Okay, so I'm going to take you down another path as we wrap up, because we've talked about this and it's a super important topic. You have been on the ground floor of AI. And I remember you helped launch an AI company 10 years ago. Has it been 10 years?
2014.
I am so good. I think I know her life better than she knows it.
2014. So
it's actually 12 years ago, almost 12 years ago. So what is your prediction? We're all out there are we going to lose our jobs? Are we going to, don't go down the road we went down last night because you'll scare the crap out of you. So keep your Secret Service clearance secret. But what I want to know is your prediction for business, for sales. How can we today, because we're coaching right now, utilize AI from somebody who has really, you helped launch AI in tech. Is that right? Am I overstating that?
Well, yeah. I mean, AI's been around for 60 years. AI is not a new technology.
Okay. I just learned something.
AI has been around for 60 years.
Okay.
And every 10 years, there's an AI summer, and it's followed by a 10-year AI winter. So in 2014, when I left Dell and went to work I was the chief marketing officer for an AI company. 10 years ago, that was an AI summer. What happened in 10 years? We had an AI winter. Now here we are again, 10 years later, and we're having another AI summer. That has been the pattern with AI for the past 60 years. What is different today is the amount of data and the amount of compute that is available on your phone.
Every conversation we've had in the last 24 hours, I've been onto chat, and then you and I expand on the data that we just found, and then we talk more.
So that's the difference today,
okay,
and why it's not going to go away is because the average American is learning how to engage and use it. And so I would say AI is not to be feared, it's to be embraced, and it is, you better start. If you are not using it in your job every day, then you're already behind, and you better get comfortable with it. It's not going away. Now, the challenge with AI, I will tell you, and the reason that, you know, verdict is still out on business value. So it is very hard. And this is why we've had AI summers and AI winters for the last 60 years, is because how do you put an ROI on the amount of money that needs to be invested at a large corporate level? I'm not talking about your day-to-day productivity has skyrocketed.
Yes.
Put a dollar amount to that.
Millions.
How much has AI saved you
Or made me.
or made you?
7 figures.
Okay.
In the last 2 years.
And so, but at a corporate level,
right?
If you were investing millions of dollars
How
in
far do you go?
AI, how do you show the ROI to that? Because a lot of what it's doing right now is individual productivity.
And it's also reducing headcount.
Well, it is reducing headcount, but it's
unfortunate, right?
Which if you embrace it, I mean, somebody still has to engage with the AI. Now, 10 years ago, I said there were 2 industries that were going to be the first 2 that were major disrupted by AI. The legal field, anything you can learn in a book. So any degree that you can learn in a book, and it's based on X's and O's and data, that's prime for disruption, because a computer can learn data.
Okay.
So legal, the legal industry, and the trucking industry.
Trucking, that's interesting,
because
someone has to drive, but someone's got to drive the trucks. Maybe.
No,
because they're going to. I guess
look at the
Tesla.
cars. Look at the cars that are out there,
Mm-hmm.
and data shows that AI is actually. I mean, we've been riding on airplanes that are driven by AI. Only thing the pilot does is land the plane. The pilot is there to step in case of an emergency. But that plane is flown by AI, and it has been for 20 years.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Another thing I learned today.
That's autopilot. So the only thing pilots do is take off and land, and they're there in a case of an emergency.
Okay.
But we never talked about that because people would freak out if they're. But
I'm freaked out right now.
Autopilot is AI,
right?
And your Tesla cars and your Waymo car, all those cars that are being driven.
Yeah.
It's just the American people, the AI is there. It's just that the American people can't get their head around that 18-wheelers might be driven.
Well, and I feel like Tesla was like testing that, right?
Yeah, they are.
And that the Department of Transportation was like, we're not there yet because the highway system's not ready for that to happen.
And
not
the
so
legal,
much of the truck.
And so regulations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So regulatory.
Yeah, I've actually read that.
Regulatory things. And one of the things we talked about, we talked about this stuff 10 years ago, and that is, if you have a self-driving car and the software that's driving that car is owned by software company X, but the car is manufactured by manufacturing Y, and that car kills somebody,
right?
Who's liable?
Who's liable?
So those are the types of regulatory things and legal things that have not been resolved.
And that's why we're not farther down the trail.
That's correct. It isn't the technology, it's all the other stuff behind it. But anyway.
So I like I said, I threw you a total. So what would you predict? So as technical as she sounds, Robin runs sales organizations within technology, right? So her job is, she's got quotas and she runs a big sales organization responsible for billions of dollars of revenue to AWS, which is Amazon Web Services. What do you see in the next 10 years? Because you are an AI expert. For the sales industry, can AI get rid of people when it comes to building relationships in sales?
No. Where people still buy from who they trust, who they trust and who they like,
who they know, like, and trust. Right?
Yeah. So
sales
that will never. I don't think that will never go away. However, if you are in a commodity, if you are selling you're not selling commodities. You're selling emotion. I mean, homes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, what's more emotional than a home purchase?
Right.
But if you are a commodity salesperson, that totally can be like automated.
Tech stacks and things like that.
Yeah, toilet paper, copy paper. I mean, anything that's a commodity buy, it's a race to the bottom, right? So it's a race to the. Now I can think about like the financial services industry where it's tell me who's got the best rate, it's a
It is race to the bottom.
Right's a race to the bottom. And so anything that is a race to the bottom can absolutely be outsourced to procurement AI. Just go out there, see what's out there, what's the lowest price, that's what I'm buying. So if you are a commodity salesperson, your job will be eliminated. No doubt about it.
And when do you predict that happening? Just wondering.
I don't know. That's $100 million question.
Yeah, because if those jobs get eliminated, then most people can't buy houses.
But yeah, that's true. Customer service organizations.
That's already been eliminated in the Philippines. I mean, geez, I can't. American Express Platinum card holder, and I can't even understand them. I'm like, who am I talking to right now?
But AI will take that over. So that's still a human. You're still talking about a human.
Right.
That's just been offshored.
Right.
But if you are talking to an automated, have you talked to automated systems that you're like, is this a person?
Probably.
Yeah.
I would say probably, yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
So, so those customer service jobs, those are definitely being automated out. And with natural language processing, I can actually tell, is this person agitated? Does this person actually need a person, or can I take care of their problem with automated software? And so because of natural language processing, I can listen to this conversation. My AI is listening to this conversation and says, okay, these 9 customers, I can take care of them with AI. These 2 customers, they're so agitated, I need a human to step in. That's the type. And so now I don't need 20 people answering that call because
2.
9 of them are going to go to this software. I only need 2 people answering that call.
Okay, so I told Robin she had to work for her breakfast this morning, and we are at 26 minutes. But I just want to wrap this with, number one, I'm just so grateful to have such an amazing group of friends. And you know, I told you guys the other day, I'm like, you know, you are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with. And if you're not hanging out with 5 Robins, 5 Renees, the people that you guys meet through my network, then you need some new friends. I mean, you know, because to reach heightened levels of success, you've got to be around other people that are looking to reach heightened levels of success. So I want to encourage every one of you to go to R.E.A.L Robin Goad, G-O-A-D, therealrobingoad.com. Check out Robin's website. Check out Robin herself. Buy the book. Like, don't we always want to support women, especially, you guys? You know that's my battle cry. Support women who, you know, it's hard to write a book. You know, I've written a couple of them. I got a new one out. Robin's story is in my book. Robin's in my new book, Roar of Faith. It's hard to write a book, right? And most people don't want to be so transparent with their playbooks, because they think, oh, if I tell someone else how to win, then I'm not winning anymore, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And you guys know me. That's why I do everything live. I don't care if every competitor I've got listens to it, because the thing I know, the difference between me and them, I could tell someone my entire playbook for success, and 99% of the people will never execute. That's right. They won't execute. So I'll tell you anything you want to know, because I'm betting against the fact that the masses are going to execute. The difference in success is execution. And destroy people. Why are you supposed to? Because I execute.
Because 80% of the people out there won't do the work.
It's not even 80.
I think.
Tell us about your team.
No.
We're not talking about Alex, okay? Anyway, so that being said, buy Robin's book, follow Robin Goad. Tell us the name of the book.
Girl by Birth, Woman by Fire.
Yes, yes. And it's really good. It's broken up into 3 sections. Tell us real quick, like what am I going to walk away with when I read your book?
I mean, I'll tell you why I wrote the book. Okay. My daughter was pregnant with my first grandbaby. Mm-hmm. And of course, she bought the book, What to Expect When You're Expecting.
Of course.
There's a 350-page book on what to expect as a woman for 9 months. Where's the book that tells you what to expect as a woman for the other 65 years of your life? So I wrote a book that talks about, part 1 of the book is about relationships. That's your very first, when you were a baby in your mother's womb, you are already establishing a relationship right before you're even born. That's part 1, relationships. Part 2 is vocation. Okay. So what do you do for a living? There were probably clues in your early childhood that said what you were going to do. It's almost your superpower. God, wouldn't it have been great if you knew your superpower when you were a teenager? Right. That's part 2, vocation. And then part 3 is around health. And that is emotional, spiritual, physical, and financial.
Perfect.
So it's really a
It is the
guidebook.
playbook for life.
It is,
Right?
and it is based on every mistake I ever made.
Wow.
I
So
just,
is it like a book that's like, 9,000 pages? I
No.
mean, all of us, if
No.
I ever wrote a book on every mistake I ever made, it would be you guys remember the Encyclopedia Britannicas, and the guy, like, you had a bunch of them in your house, like for every, like that would be mine. I would be the encyclopedia, like, of all all the books.
well, here's the deal. I was just listening to a podcast this week on the 7 signs of power. It's written, or 7 power. I don't know what the title is, but the Stanford professor that has spent 30 years studying power.
Okay.
And I was listening to his podcast, and everything he talks about, he has based it on research.
Okay.
And there were so many principles that I talk about in my book that are hard fought. Like, oh yeah, I've learned it. Mine wasn't research. Mine was
School of Hard Knocks.
Came to the same conclusion. I have a lot of the same. And the reason that I actually listened to the podcast is because I was in a business meeting, and this CEO of this small startup software company, he said, Robin, do you realize so much of what you say is directly aligned to the 7 signs of power? And I said, no. And so I went back to my room that night and listened to that podcast. And the only difference is his is all research and mine is all
Real
School
life.
of Hard Knocks.
Yep.
So,
But that's why you've been so wildly successful. That's why you are so highly respected. That's why, you are the real Robin Goad. So everybody, I hope you have a great Sunday. I'm going to go feed this woman now. We might have a Bloody Mary at breakfast. I haven't even told her that piece yet. Anyways, so we had a great time last night with a bunch of friends. And so I just had a great weekend. I've got to have all my very best friends spend the night, hang out. And then I don't break it to them until the morning that
we have to get on here with no makeup, our hair not done. We're still in our pajamas.
I did the same thing to Renee yesterday.
Anyway,
she was like,
"This is
what?
as real as it gets, right here."
She's like, "What? We're gonna do what?" And you're more out there than Renee is. So for Renee, it was a real stretch yesterday, y'all, for her to come on and do that. And for you, not so much. So I literally told her, I'm like, suck down that second cup of coffee because we're going live. We're not going to eat until we go live.
And we're not even going to talk about what we're going to talk about. Just get on here. Let's go.
Like 20 years. Like, I know this woman. Like, I know what to talk about with her. All right, you guys. Love you guys. Happy Sunday.
Have a great day.
Buy Robin's book. Buy Robin's book.